My name's Tyler Bellenfant, and I am a data scientist. My favorite piece of lab equipment is our 3D printers, and we actually have a bunch of them. And they're super useful for building stuff for work or your projects. But one of my favorite parts about the 3D printer is we give lab tours to students, other groups, coworkers, and the first time you pull something off a 3D printer, somebody looks at that and you can see in their eyes that, oh, I can make something like this. It's really like the fastest way you can go from thinking to doing, and I really enjoy that. I've reflected a lot on that. I think isolating it down to one thing is hard to do, but something that crossed my mind when thinking about it is probably the oldest memory I have that I can attribute to becoming a scientist, and that was working with my grandfather. And he had a workbench in his garage. He was in the Army Corps of Engineers and lived in San Francisco. And one of my earliest memories of that house in San Francisco is being in the garage. I had a cut off piece of 2x4, my plastic hammer, was able to bang on it. But as I grew up and got more capable, he would show me how to use all these tools that he had on his workbench, and I was able to see the things that he made. And I also started thinking about how things work and how they fit together. And I think that really set me down the path of becoming an engineer and a scientist, is that pivotal question of like, how does that work? And that's really how I ended up here. Yeah, the school side of things, I was always better at math and science subjects, and I think that's mostly because I like them more. But progressing through elementary school and middle school, I always had these science classes where we had a lot of animals in the classrooms, and we were able to check them out and take them home on weekends, which I don't think my parents enjoyed that much. But we were able to learn a lot about the animals. Fourth grade, we were able to take steelhead salmon from egg all the way to release in the river. I got to learn that full life cycle. And then also building things in physics class, being able to build a bridge and see how well it'll hold up to weight and destroying it, which I thought was also part of the fun. All of that I think was pretty essential to me continuing down the STEM track, being curious and having fun. I would say the biggest hurdle I've had to jump over in my career is actually starting my career, completing my undergraduate degree. That was probably the hardest thing I've had to do. And when you start your undergraduate degree, you're really taken from this thing that you know that's familiar, your family, your friends, your hometown. And for me, my family was far away. I'd see them on breaks. That'd be essentially it. So you're taken from that and put into this new environment that, for me, the classes were tougher than I was used to. I was supporting myself financially, so I had a job in addition to school. And then later in my undergraduate career, I joined student organizations. So I had all these different tethers pulling at my time. And that was a hard balance. But the way that I got through it was, with all of those things came people in a network. My classmates were obviously in the same classes as me, and they became collaborators, whether that's in lab or with homework assignments or sharing resources for tutors that could help. That was super useful, with coworkers being able to help take your shifts or move them around so you could make an exam or make a class, or if you had to spend more time in the lab, that was super useful. And my friends through the student organizations allowed me some reprieve and allowed me to have a lot of fun and showed me a lot of new activities like surfing that I'd never done previously. And that added a lot of balance to it and helped me get through it. I would say two things, and they're kind of related. One is stay curious. Really how I attribute getting into the sciences and staying there is asking how and why a lot. And wondering like, well, how does my modem work? How does this car work? I really liked figuring out those questions, and I think that's a persistent thread that's kept me the course in STEM. And then along those lines, the second piece of advice I have that's helped me professionally is always be learning. there's so many things out there to learn. And when you go out looking for them, find the ones that interest you, you're learning new skills and opening up avenues professionally, but you're also keeping yourself tethered to what you like and what is fun. So there's a balance that keeps you moving forward. I would say find the fun in it. That's really what helped me stay this course in this career, is really that it's fun for me. And I think there's fun really in any of physics, chemistry, biology. I think there's so many areas that you can find that interest you. And if it interests you, you're going to be able to pursue it a lot easier because you're instinctively asking, well, what's next? And I think that's a really good way to go about it.